Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This is episode number 99. We're back up here where we fought Snattle. We're going to head across the bridge to the mystery blue man here, Ardos. It's been a while, boy. Do you remember me? Do you recall this? I helped you in Gadian Port. There's no need for thanks. I was merely punishing a fool that used a shadow Pokemon in public. At that time, we didn't want the world to know what we, Cypher, were planning. Back then, I thought you were just an ordinary child. Little did I suspect that you would become Cypher's biggest and most damaging threat. That's enough talk. You have the skills and wherewithal to reach Citadark Isle. Let me see your abilities in full glory. Alright, so it's time to battle another Cypher admin, Ardos. One of Mr. Verich's, or I guess Master Greevil now, Master Greevil's bodyguards. Of course, there's also the red one as well, and we'll be taking him on later. Alright, so Zabrong and Crobat are our starting Pokemon, and for Ardos, who has an incredibly difficult team, he's going to start off with Swellow and Alakazam. Both of them are very, very fast. And also, Swellow is going to be a shadow Pokemon, so be careful because both these Pokemon are fairly fragile. Thankfully, Crobat is the fastest of the bunch here. We're able to outspeed Alakazam and take it out before it gets to do way too much damage with a Shadow Ball, because this thing will just wreak havoc if you leave it on the field. Make sure you take Alakazam out first. We'll use Psychic, Ice Punch, all kinds of things, and make your life a living hell. Swellow will most likely go for a Shadow Sky on the first turn, so you can buy yourself a turn in order to paralyze it. You're going to want to paralyze it to make it slow, because this Swellow is very fast. If you don't have Crobat or Electrode, chances are the Swellow is going to be faster than you as well. Alright, so with Shadow Sky on the field, everyone's going to be damaged except for Swellow, of course. We also need to be careful. I think I mentioned this, but we need to be careful damaging the Swellow because it doesn't have a lot in the way of defense, so I'm not even going to worry about attacking it with Electabuzz to begin with, because most of his attacks are super effective on it. As you can see, Wing Attack takes away about 2/3 of his health, so that leaves Electabuzz to attack Kingdra. Kingdra is also a ridiculously strong Pokemon. It only has one weakness, and that is to the Dragon type. Chances are you don't have a Dragon type at this point unless you picked up Altaria or you decided to use Flygon. And the problem becomes, if you're using a Dragon, Kingdra also has moves that are going to be super effective against your Pokemon as well, as he has Ice Beam to take out Dragons, and he also has Dragon Breath, which will be super effective on Dragons. And Crobat just got annihilated in that turn by Ice Beam with Kingdra, and then with Swellow as well. So Crobat goes down, and I mean, I don't even understand how they made Crobat look like such a lightweight there, but this team is no joke. Alright, so we should be able to take out Kingdra this turn, which is definitely something that we want to do, because this Kingdra also has Hydro Pump, and if it hits you with that, you can pretty much kiss anything that doesn't resist Water-type moves goodbye. A level 44 Hydro Pump from Kingdra, you're not going to survive it. Alright, so let's see what I want to do here. We're going to call Ninetales so that we will be able to get a burn condition off on the later Shadow Pokemon, because in this battle there's actually 3 Shadow Pokemon to capture, not 2, like what most of the bosses have. The Thunderbolt from Electabuzz finishes off Kingdra, thankfully, before it does any further damage. Heracross is going to be the replacement. It's not a Shadow Pokemon. It's a bug and fighting type Pokemon, so it is quad weak to flying. Stay away from using that. It also has much higher special defense than it does physical defense, so if you do have to use a move that's super effective, I recommend going for Psychic or Fire. Alright, so Swellow went for the Shadow half there, so that halved the HP of all the Pokemon on the field, which actually is going to work out in our favor, because that'll bring Swellow down into the red zone. As well as, you know, him being paralyzed. We should be able to capture him with 1 Ultra Ball now. And believe it or not, Swellow is probably the easiest to capture out of all of the Pokemon on his team that we have to catch. Alright, so Heracross is actually the last normal Pokemon on his team. The rest after this will be Shadow Pokemon. So, what I want to do is go for an Ultra Ball on Swellow, and then we can use... I guess it doesn't matter which Pokemon to knock out Heracross. And Swellow, you better stay in there. My goodness, after all that talk about how easy you are to catch, you better stay in there. Yes, thank you very much. Swallow is ours. It's a normal and flying type Pokemon. It's the evolution of Tailo. I didn't really go into that. It also has the Guts ability, so if it is afflicted with a status condition, its attack will go up. So be aware of that. And yes, he's going to send out an Electabuzz, which is a Shadow Pokemon. Doesn't make a lot of sense that you can get an Elekid and also an Electabuzz in the game. And the Electabuzz is kind of required because it's a Shadow Pokemon, but that's how they did it. Anyway, we knocked out Heracross with Psychic from our Zaprong, and the replacement Pokemon is going to be Snorlax, the pure normal type Pokemon from the Kanto region, and it is a Shadow Pokemon. This Shadow Snorlax is going to be introducing a new Shadow move into the mix that we have not seen yet. It's called Shadow End, and it's pretty much the Shadow version of Double Edge. It does a crazy amount of damage. It's well over 100 for the base power. It might be 120. I'm not entirely sure if it's 100 or 120. It's one of those two, but it also decreases the user's HP by half, so it just inflicts a crazy amount of damage in recoil. First thing that we're going to want to do is burn Snorlax. Also keep in mind that there's a good chance that Snorlax has the immunity ability, so he can't be poisoned, so keep that in mind when you're trying to afflict him with status conditions. As for Electabuzz, Electabuzz is a lot more dangerous when he's not a Shadow Pokemon because of his electrical attacks and all that good stuff. Especially with his static ability, that becomes one of his biggest dangers. So I recommend trying to hit it with special attack like Psychic, things of that nature, so that you don't actually have to make contact with it. Burning Snorlax is a good idea because it will decrease the power of Shadow End. And as you can see, it takes away half of his HP, regardless of how much damage it does to the opponent. But Zaprong has no chance to stand up against that. He didn't have that much HP left to begin with. So now we're down Zaprong and Crobat, and Ninetales is on its way out as well. So we need to kind of think on our toes here. We're down to 4 Pokemon, or 3.5, I guess. I'm going to say that our best choice at this point is going to be Vaporeon, so I'm going to send him out there. And the shadowy aura has faded away, so I don't know if either of these two know Shadow Sky. If they do, I'm sure they'll be using it. This Snorlax is also holding leftovers, even though we already had an opportunity to pick up leftovers in this game. You can get a second one from capturing this Snorlax, and it sucks during this battle if you don't give him a poison or burn condition, because he will just continually recover himself, and it sucks. It sucks, especially when you think you get him down in the red and he recovers a little bit. Alright, so we're going to try to capture him, and thankfully, Snorlax just cooperates with us for some reason and stays in the first Ultra Ball we throw out at it. Even with the burn condition, I was kind of surprised there, but alright. We're also going to burn Electabuzz here, because I believe the only attacks he knows are physical attacks, I think. Anywho, he likes to use Shadow Mist, him and Starmie. I don't know why. Actually, a lot of the Shadow Pokemon here on Citadark, I'll love to spam Shadow Mist over and over and over again when it's not necessary. I don't understand why. It would make sense from the standpoint that Shadow End does not have 100% accuracy, but Electabuzz himself doesn't know that, so we'll see what he does now that Snorlax is off the field. So, since I don't really have anything else to do here, I might as well just throw an Ultra Ball at him and see what happens. I know he's still in the green, but I really don't want to attack him again, because I feel like that'll just be overkill. So let's see if he stays in there. Come on, Electabuzz, work with me here. And he stays in, even though he's in the green. That's all it took. Alright, well that's going to do it for Ardos. And it actually took about the same amount of time to defeat Ardos as it did Snaddle, but Ardos definitely is a more difficult battle by far. I realize now that I should have crushed you much earlier. Yes, you should have. This is out of my hands now. I must defer you to Master Greevil himself, even though we don't fight him for a while. But boy, don't think that this is over. I won't abandon my dreams. And he walks off. He's clearly one pissed off dude. Dodrio is now ready to be purified in the purifying chamber, which is awesome, I suppose. After we get done with all the Citadark Isle stuff, we'll have a bunch of purifying to do. From the purifying chamber, probably all 9 sets worth. Well, the first thing I want to do here is obviously get ourselves all healed up, because we took quite a beating in that battle. And oh, Altaria is also ready to be purified. That's fantastic. It's Master Greevil here. Ho, ho, ho! Now, this is quite a surprise. You managed to defeat Ardos. Of course, you have also beaten so many of my followers. Perhaps it's no surprise that you won. Yeah, I'm not really surprised at all, I gotta say. I must say that I haven't been this excited in a long time. I do have an appreciation for the strong, you see. However, I also cannot allow your interference. My Shadow Pokemon plan is nearing completion. Oh, evil smile. So, for the time being, I think I will have you securely out of the way. And he's going to turn around, and this glass wall is going to appear in front of us, so we can no longer move forward here. But we can go back the way we came, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode. And actually, we have more Cypher admins to deal with, so that's going to be for next time. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and please stay tuned for episode number 100. Game on.